Before Spain, before colonization, before the word Filipino ever existed, there was gold. Gold that wasn't stolen from others. It came from the land itself, from the rivers, from the hands of those who knew its power. The ancient people of these islands wore it, worked it, and were even buried in it. For centuries, the world forgot. But now, the gold is speaking again. In pre-colonial Philippines, gold wasn't rare, it was normal. Found in riverbeds and mined from mountains, gold was woven into daily life. Commoners used it as currency, while nobility wore it as jewelry, armor, and even dental work. Gold was a sign of status, beauty, and spiritual strength. Early Chinese traders described locals wearing golden daggers and elaborate ornaments. Spanish chroniclers were stunned to see men and women draped in gold, chestplates, belts, and headdresses that shone under the tropical sun. It wasn't imported wealth, it was indigenous, mined, molded, and mastered by Filipino hands long before European boots touched the soil. In 1981, a bulldozer operator in Surigao accidentally struck something ancient. It wasn't stone, it was treasure. More than 100 gold objects, including masks, earrings, diadems, and intricate body chains were uncovered. Archaeologists called it the greatest gold find in Philippine history. But these weren't just valuables, they were masterpieces. Crafted with techniques like filigree and repoussé, these items revealed a level of metalworking once thought impossible for island civilizations. The designs were native, but the influences showed global connections, from Hindu motifs to Southeast Asian patterns. This discovery rewrote what the world knew about Filipino heritage. Butuan was once a center of global commerce. As early as the 10th century, it was known in Chinese records as a kingdom that traded gold, pearls, and other goods. Its balangay boats carried gold across Southeast Asia, reaching Champa, Srivijaya, and even China. Gold was so common in Butuan that it was used in diplomatic gifts. Traders from India and Arabia marveled at the craftsmanship. The Philippines wasn't isolated, it was plugged into a massive maritime network, and gold was its passport. Even before Spanish colonization, ancient Filipinos were already part of global history. Many ancient Filipinos were buried with gold, not as treasure but as spiritual armor. In coastal tombs and highland caves, skeletons were found wearing gold mouth coverings, face masks, and chest pieces. These items were believed to guide souls to the afterlife, or to protect them on their journey. Only the elite were buried this way: datus, babaylons, or warrior leaders. It wasn't just wealth, it was legacy. To be buried in gold was to remain powerful even in death. These artifacts are a window into a belief system where the material and the spiritual were one and the same. When the Spanish arrived, they didn't just conquer the land, they melted its memory. Ancient gold was seized, recast, and shipped to Europe. Ornaments became coins. Sacred heirlooms became church vessels. The artistry was lost, and soon, the people were taught that they had no civilization before Spain. That they were savages saved by the cross and sword. The truth was buried, literally. Gold wasn't lost because it disappeared. It was taken, and with it, the pride of a culture that once glittered in its own brilliance. To the ancient Filipinos, gold was more than wealth, it was identity. It marked who you were, where you came from, and what you represented. Warriors wore gold armlets that showed how many battles they survived. Chiefs wore diadems that symbolized divine favor. Babaylons carried amulets believed to contain spiritual power. Every piece had a meaning. Unlike today's gold, which sits in banks or vaults, their gold was public, lived in, and sacred. It was a way to exist, not just economically, but culturally and spiritually. Today, the gold of ancient Filipinos sits behind glass, in museums in Manila, Paris, and Madrid. Some of it was returned. Much of it wasn't. But now, a new generation is beginning to ask questions. Where did this come from? Who made it? And why weren't we told? Scholars, artists, and historians are reconnecting the fragments, restoring pride in a heritage that was almost erased. Gold has become a mirror. It reflects not just the past, but what modern Filipinos are still trying to remember about themselves. The gold of ancient Filipinos was never just about shine. It was about sovereignty, beauty, and memory. For centuries, colonizers melted it, buried it, and silenced it. But gold does not decay. It waits. And now, it returns, not just in museums, but in the minds and hearts of those ready to remember. The civilization was never lost. It was simply hidden, until now.